Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness unto light. Lead us from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. So, namaste, hello, and welcome back to this last session of studying the text dÄśya vivēka. And I hope it's been an interesting journey, an exciting journey. If it's been confusing, that's also all right. Confusion just means a discomfort with what I know and what I understand, and that leads to more investigation, more struggle, and that's good. That's good. Now, all that remains, I think we are all fairly enlightened now. All that remains is samadhi, meditation. So the good stuff, and then followed by a statement of results. What is in Sanskrit, it's called phalashruti. It's very, these texts are very logically designed. So at the end of it, you will get, what do you get out of it all? What can you expect of it? The result or the goal. Now, meditation. Just a word before we go into this. Meditation serves a very specific purpose in Advaita Vedanta. The purpose of meditation in Advaita Vedanta is not enlightenment. The purpose of meditation in Advaita Vedanta is living the enlightenment. Let me put it in technical terms and then expand upon that. The three steps or the three components of Advaitic practice are Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, hearing, reasoning, meditation. And each serves a purpose. Technically speaking, there's something called pramanagata samshaya. What does the text tell me? I have a doubt about what these texts, the Vedantic texts are telling me. And once I listen, once I study systematically, then this doubt should go. I should be fairly clear what the texts are telling me. So listening removes the doubt about the message itself, about the teaching itself. Once we listen systematically to one or more texts, they all tell you the same thing. That's another beauty of these Advaitic texts. All the texts, all the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, the Brahma Sutras, and all these mass of non-dual literature, they all tell us one thing. It's pretty elegant. You are that. You are that absolute reality. You are existence, consciousness, bliss. You are pure awareness. So that's the message. Then the second component is, I understand the message. I know what the teaching is. I know what the texts are trying to tell us, what you are trying to tell us. I know that. But now my problem is I don't understand it. How am I not the body? How am I not the mind? What is pure consciousness and how am I pure? All these questions. You will go on to say the world is non-dual pure consciousness. How? Doesn't look like it. So that is the second level, reasoning. So we go into a phase of reasoning. Once the reasoning is over, we should be fairly clear about what the texts are telling us and also what it means. I should be able to say honestly, I know what these texts are telling us in general, and I also understand it. I understand the arguments. I understand the machinery inside this, what's going on here. I get it. But I still have one more problem. It's not real for me. I can't live it. I keep getting these questions. Just at the end of that session, somebody asked me outside that I get it intellectually, but how do I live it? So this third question, that I understand something. I understand it quite well, but I can't live it. In my life, I'm the same old person, so the same dude, I haven't changed at all. If the stated goal was overcoming suffering, well, I haven't overcome suffering. I still suffer. I still have problems in life. And added problems, because now I have non-dual problems also. Earlier I had money problems, relationship problems, health problems, environmental problems, societal problems, and all of this. Now I have a spiritual problem because I've done this spirituality and it doesn't seem to work. I'm worried about that too. One more thing to worry about. Oh, good. Oh, good. So how do I live this teaching, which I have? I know the teaching and I understand it. That's a precondition. How do I live this teaching and to make it real, to overcome past tendencies? That is the purpose of non-dual meditation. This tendency to keep on behaving like the person I was, even in spite of the knowledge that I have gained, that tendency will be overcome by non-dual meditation. So, in Sanskrit, the doubt about the pramana, the source of knowledge, doubt about the text, that's removed by hearing. The doubt about the goal of it, pure consciousness, Atman, Brahman, the identity of Atman and Brahman, that is called prameya samshaya, doubt about the object of this. That is removed by reasoning. And what is called asambhavana, what is called viparita bhavana, contrary tendencies. My character remaining the same, what it always was, that is removed by non-dual meditation. So you can see the purpose of non-dual meditation in this tradition of Advaita Vedanta is living the knowledge already acquired, sort of making it real in my life. That presumes we have a real clarity and conviction about what we have studied. All right. What's the method? We know what's the method in yogic meditation. We've been doing it. Maybe many of us have been doing it for years. We know what's the method in devotional prayer, in devotional meditation, when you focus on the deity, on God. But what's the method here? The method here is to stay. It just enables you to stay with your understanding, your conviction. The knowledge that is gained here so far, in all the sessions, how to stay with that and that alone for an extended period of time. That's the method. We'll see. 6 methods will be suggested here for non-dual meditation. So having known that, so be warned that this meditation is quite different from our idea of meditation. For example, our idea of meditation, you sit, and there's a posture, and there's a breathing, and there is a way you turn inwards, and you be still, not engaged with the world. Eyes closed, call it eyes closed meditation. Well, this non-dual meditation is possible with eyes closed, it's possible with eyes open. After all, if you're going to stay with what you have learned, you can stay with it, what you have learned, what's he doing? He's staying with his learning. Or you can do this also. What's he doing? Staying with the learning. And we'll see, the techniques are quite peculiar to this tradition. Now let's go on. And we'll have time for some Q&A at the end. Verse number 21. Khavayu agni jalor vishu, khavayu agni jalor vishu, devatiryang naradishu, devatiryam naradishu, abhinna satchidananda, abhinna satchidananda, Bhidyete rupanamani, bhidyete rupanamani. The attributes of existence, consciousness, and bliss are equally present in space, air, fire, water, earth, as well as in gods, animals, and human beings. Names and forms make one differ from the other. This is just summing up whatever has gone on before. It's one non-dual consciousness, which you are. Then why does it seem so different? Why is it I and everybody else? Why are there human beings and animals and birds and the grass and the sky and the earth? All these are name and form. The stuffing in all of them is the same Brahman, the same existence, consciousness, bliss. That's all it's said. Now, how do I appreciate this and how do I live it? 22. Upeksha nama rupe dve. Upeksha nama rupe dve. Satchidananda tatparaha. Satchidananda tatparaha. Samadhim sarvada kuryad. Samadhim sarvada kuryat hridaye vathava bahihi. Hridaye vathava bahihi. Having become indifferent to name and form and being devoted to Satchidananda, one should always practice concentration either within the heart or outside. Okay, now we are in the area of meditation proper. What are we going to do? Remember the basic verse which we studied, the 20th verse. In all our experience, 5 things are being presented. Isness, awareness, dearness or joyfulness, name and form. That isness, awareness, joyfulness is Satchidananda. And it's being presented to us all the time. The names and forms are what constitutes what we normally think of as the world. Always be careful about this point, because the Advaita Vedanta makes such a big deal about Brahman is real, the world is false. And immediately we think, oh, so this is false. And there is something called Brahman which is real? This is false. No. This is Brahman, with a coating of name and form. Then what is false? Taking the name and form to be the reality, that's false. The way we operate in the world, as this itself is the reality, missing the underlying reality, which is Brahman. It's like thinking, so the golden ornaments, necklaces and tiaras and rings, they are the reality. And somebody tells me, they are false, gold is real. And I make a mistake. I think, oh, so the necklace and tiara and the rings are not real. There's something called gold which is real. Let me throw away the necklace, tiara and rings and look for gold. You will never find it. You just thrown it away. Oh, then I make the next mistake. You mean the necklace is the reality? No. Because the moment the necklace is melted and the gold is made into a ring or a tiara, you'll think, oh, the reality has gone. It's gone. It hasn't gone. It's the same thing which you saw as a necklace, you're now seeing it as a tiara, or as a ring, or as a bracelet. The names and forms are changing, and use also. Nama, Rupa, Vyavahara, name, form, and utility, or transaction. The name is a bracelet, and the form is, it looks like that, like this actually. And the use is, you put it on your wrist. And the name is necklace, and it looks like this. And the use is, you put it on your neck, around your neck. But it is the same material, it's the same gold. Similarly, what Vedanta wants to tell us is, there is one undivided existence, consciousness, bliss here. We don't see that. We see a world of difference. Because we are focused on the necklaces, tiaras, and rings, we are not seeing the gold. But to see the gold, you have to see it here. Now, how do you see it here? How do you experience it here? He says, the author says here, the 5 elements, name and form, are what constitute the world. Isness, awareness, dearness, or joyfulness, they come from Brahman. You have to sort of ignore the name and form and look towards the underlying existence, consciousness, bliss. It's like ignoring the name and form of the necklace and seeing the gold, that it's gold. Attending to the fact that it is gold. You're seeing the gold anyway. Ignoring the name and form that it's a bracelet, ignore the name and form. But don't ignore the bracelet itself. See that it is gold. Shankaracharya, in another of his texts, Aparoksha Anubhuti, he says that when you look at a clay pot, the clay blazes forth unchecked. These are strong words. It's choiceless. When you're looking at a clay pot, you have no choice but to look at the clay. Just that our attention is on the pot, the form, the name, the use. And we tend to forget, push it to the background that it's clay. But at least in the clay pot, we know what a pot means and what clay means. Here the problem is, we know what the world means, but we don't really know what Brahman means here. And that's what the book is trying to introduce us to. So the whole meditation techniques, all these techniques which we'll see, 6 of them, they all constitute in ignoring for the time being the names and forms and looking through to the underlying existence consciousness bliss. One monk, I was there, he said in Hindi, "हाँ महात्मा जी, महात्मा का दृष्टि ऐसे ही होना चाहिए." He was talking, somebody told him about X-rays, how these rays penetrate through the skin and the flesh and the blood, and they take a picture of your bones. He says, you monks, you should have an X-ray vision. Superman's supposed to have an X-ray vision. The X-ray vision should penetrate through name and form and discover the isness, awareness, bliss. It should discover the Satchidananda and penetrate through not the body, not the prana, not the mind, not the intellect, not even the causal body, Satchidananda. And of course, that does not mean physically seeing. It's the understanding. It's the intuitive grasping of what we are seeing here. So all these meditations will have the form of ignoring. They will show us how to ignore the name and form and get to the metaphysical bottom of things, existence, consciousness, bliss. Let's see. And they already pointed out, these meditations belong to 2 categories. One is you can do the meditation on yourself, in your own inner experience. Or you can do the meditation taking up something in the world outside. Both ways. You can take an object and meditate, you can meditate on the subject. You will discover the same thing. Now, verse number 23. He's going to give us the classification of this meditation into 6 types. Verse number 23. Savikalpo nirvikalpaha, savikalpo nirvikalpaha, samadhir dvividho hridi, samadhir dvividho hridi, dṛśya shabdanuvedhena, savikalpa punardvidha. 2 types of samadhi to be practiced in the heart within oneself are known as savikalpa and nirvikalpa. Savikalpa samadhi is again divided into 2 classes according to its association with a cognizable object or a sound as an object. You feel like, I don't want to practice that meditation. It sounds awfully dry and incomprehensible. It's pretty simple actually and quite fun. So here's the classification. 2 kinds of meditation divided into 3 each. So total 6 types. One is when you're practicing within yourself. So step 1 will be to take up any thought or perception, whatever you feel, any feeling, any thought, take up any internal object, focus on that and use that as a support. I'll tell you the technique later on, it'll come. But using an internal object, dṛśya just means something you see. What is an internal object? Thoughts, emotions, sensations. Let's just go with thoughts. Yeah. So an internal object, a thought, take it up and use it as a basis of meditation. So this is called, there's a long, complicated name, internal with support samadhi. Internal with support, internal with object support samadhi, or with object support internal samadhi. That's one. And how to practice that, we'll see. Then the next one, it's a sequence, will be internal with text support samadhi. And then there'll be the internal, then there will be the internal samadhi without any support. Now let me give you the Sanskrit for these, to make it a little more incomprehensible. Antara dṛśya anuviddha savikalpa samadhi. That's first type of samadhi. Internal, object-supported samadhi. Second, antara shabdanuviddha savikalpa samadhi. Internal, text-supported samadhi. Third, nirvikalpa samadhi, supportless samadhi. No need to call it internal also. Then the next set will be external samadhis, exactly like this. External, object-supported samadhi. External, text-supported samadhi. And nirvikalpa samadhi, supportless samadhi. So, two sequences, one beginning inside, one beginning outside. Outside means just from your ordinary perspective. Whatever is in my mind is internal, whatever is external is external. So two sets of samadhi, 6 of them. Have you sort of got the breakup, the classification? Object supported, text supported, no support. Internal, external, object supported, text supported, no support. It sounds like tech support. This is samadhi support. Let us see. Now, let's go into the first of these samadhis. 24. Kamadhyaschittaga dрешya, kamadhyaschittaga dрешya, tatsakshittvena chetanam, tatsakshittvena chetanam, dhyayed dрешяनुविद्धोयम्, dhyayed dрешяनुविद्धोयम्, samadhi savikalpakah, samadhi savikalpakah. Desire, etc., centered in the mind are to be treated as cognizable objects. Meditate on consciousness as their witness. This is what is called savikalpa samadhi, associated with cognizable objects. What this means is, take up any thought. Nothing comes to mind. The mind is mischievous in that way. When you want to quieten the mind, it's full of buzzing with thoughts. When you say, Swami tells me to, mind, can you suggest a thought? Swami wants me to think a thought. The mind will be silent. Nope. No thought. So just take a thought. 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, D, whatever. Om. So whatever thought comes. And here they are so free-ranging. Any thought that comes, whatever is in the mind right now, kamadhya, desire, anger, hatred, peace, restlessness, joy, depression, whatever is in the mind. It's good to begin with something that is light and nice. Neither terribly good nor terribly bad. But what is terribly good and terribly bad tend to prevent you from meditating, because you want to either suffer the terribly bad or enjoy the terribly good. So something light. Don't try it now. We'll do the whole sequence. Learn the whole sequence and we'll do it now. After the 3, we'll learn the sequence of 3 and then try it. So once you select that, then apply what we have learned. The seer and the seen are different. So here is this thought, A, B, C, D. And clearly note, so always, nose. A, B, C, D thought, just like nose. Here is the thought. Be firm. No wishy-washy, no vagueness, no tall talk. Just be very clear what we are doing. Here is the thought, A, B, C, D. Good. Now, clearly this thought is appearing to me. So I am the experiencer of the thought. The thought is not aware of itself. ABCD doesn't know itself. ABCD doesn't know the next thought. EFGH doesn't know that. ABCD does not know itself, does not know any other thoughts or anything else, does not know me either. But I, whatever I am aware of ABCD. I am aware of other thoughts, and I am aware of myself. I, the witness consciousness, am aware of ABCD. That's all. What this meditation technique does is, it takes up anything that comes to mind and uses it as a mirror. Just as you would use a mirror to take a look at your face. Any mirror comes up, you see your face. Similarly, bring up any thought and just use it to become aware of yourself as awareness. The thought comes up and I'm aware of it. Again, nose. Straightforward. Am I aware of it or not? Yes. That awareness. Steady yourself in the awareness. That's what we will do. But we will do it next. Then what do you do? Number 25. Asanga Satchidananda, Asanga Satchidananda, Swaprabho Dvaita Varjitaha, Swaprabho Dvaita Varjitaha, Asmiti Shabda Vidhoyam, Asmiti Shabda Vidhoyam, Samadhi Savikalpakaha, Samadhi Savikalpakaha. I am existence, consciousness, bliss, unattached, self-luminous and free from duality. This is known as the Savikalpa Samadhi associated with sound. So this is the second kind of Samadhi. Internal Samadhi supported by text or sound, as he says. What do you do now? There's a thought which comes, ABCD. And now I am aware that I am the one aware of that ABCD. Okay? Stay. Now notice certain things about this awareness. You're using the mind. No problem. You're using the mind, using the intellect. Do use it. You're noticing certain things about the awareness itself. You as the witness consciousness. What are you going to notice? The text supplies what you're going to notice. What is the text? It could be any Advaitic text which tells you about the nature of the witness. So here, for example, it's just a sampling. So here it says, Asangaha, unattached. This awareness, unattached I am. Asangoaham, asangoaham, asangoaham. Notice, to me the awareness, this thought has come, ABCD, but it will not stick. It did not, was not there earlier, it is there now. Next moment it is gone. It did not stick to me, the awareness. No thought has ever stuck to me, the awareness. Whatever has come in my awareness, no thought has ever stuck to me. Next. No emotion, no sensation or emotion, no feeling has ever stuck to me, the awareness. Sometimes there have been intense feelings of joy, but they have gone. Sometimes there have been intense feelings of unhappiness. They have gone. There have been feelings of anxiety, yes, even fear, but they have gone. The feelings of courage and purpose and determination, but they have gone too. Nothing sticks to me, the awareness. This world, this life, no person has ever stuck to me. They have come and gone. No activity, no possession. Even this body, it is changing continuously. In my awareness, whatever I am aware of, none of them ever have or are or will ever stick to me. They will arise in me and they will disappear. Why? Because that's my nature, asangaha. I am non-stick. Non-stick cooking ware? It's non-stick. Awareness is non-stick. Asangoham. This whole of the waking life will disappear in minutes. And I go into a dream world. The whole of the dream world, no matter how intense and nice, will disappear. And I go into deep sleep, the darkness. And the darkness of deep sleep will disappear, will to be replaced by the waking world. Non-stick. Asangoham. I am non-stick awareness. Nothing in this world will stick to you. And that's good news. That's good news. You enjoy the panorama and the display of life. This life is like a magical display in you, the awareness. Try to grab onto it, you're asking for trouble. You're non-stick, nothing will stick to you. You cannot grab onto it. Asangoham, I am this non-stick awareness. Then next. Satchidanandaha. So this is the nature of Brahman, or the ultimate reality. Sat means existence. I am. Notice, again notice. All of these are a fact right now. I am. This is Sat. I am. When I am thinking ABCD, I am. When I am not thinking ABCD, I am. When I am feeling happy, I am. When there is a not so happy feeling, I am. Enjoying, I am. Suffering, I am. Neutral feeling, everything is fine. What's the word? Meh? M-E-H? Yeah. It's like something neutral but not so good. Slightly derogatory. I am. Or things are superb, really going swimmingly well. I am. And notice, it's the same I am. When things are really good, the I am has not improved. When things are really, really bad, the I am has not degraded. It's the same I am. In waking, in dreaming, in sleeping, it's the same I am. In deep sleep, you can't reflect on it. But you can reflect in the waking state because you're using the mind. I am continues. This is called Sat. It never goes away. In all emotions, I am. In all thinking, I am. In all memory or loss of memory, I am. In all enjoying and suffering, I am. In my waking, dreaming and sleeping, I am. In all activities, whether you are cooking, walking, talking, playing, I am. Whether I pay attention to I am or I do not pay attention, I am. Notice, this is an important point. When I say I am, it does not mean what's going on right now in our minds. The moment I say I am, I become self-conscious. But that self-consciousness comes and goes all the time. You play an intense game of tennis or something which requires absorption, or you're a surgeon doing surgery, requires absorption. The sense of self-consciousness will go away. Has to, otherwise you can't perform. But I am is still there. It's just not, we are not reflecting on it. Susan Blackmore, I think. She's a consciousness studies expert, neuroscience and philosophy, I think, if I'm not getting the name wrong. So she's objected. She said this I am is not constant. It's, when you reflect upon it, it's there. If you don't reflect upon it, is it there? It's a bit like the light in the refrigerator. When you open it, it's shining. You close it, is it shining? But there's no way of knowing without opening it. No. That's not what we mean here. We don't mean that. We mean the sense of conscious presence which is there. When you say, when I'm playing an intense game of tennis, I was not self-conscious at all. I was not even thinking I am. But you were. Otherwise, the game of tennis wouldn't have happened. The sheer intensity of the game of tennis is an experience. And that experience shows I am. Just that I'm not thinking about it. So I am is constant in action, emotion, thought, cognition, waking, dreaming, sleep. That is called Sat. That's also called Chit. The ever-present existence consciousness. And that limitlessness of that existence consciousness is bliss itself. And that's a whole subject. What is the meaning of Ananda here? I'm not going into that. But you say, Satchidananda aham, Sat aham, Chit aham, Anando aham. I am isness, I am awareness, I am bliss. What I want us to notice is, this is not affirmative thinking. This is the whole thing, like positive psychology. I am brave, or I am calm, or I am confident, and you repeat it again and again and again till it becomes the truth. Goebbels was the first one who came across this idea. You repeat something 1,000 times till it becomes the truth. That's propaganda. No, it's not like that. It's not like that. What Vedanta wants us to do is actually catch hold of the I am and notice that it's always there. Notice that it's always shining. And the isness, shining nature, is bliss. Notice that it is non-stick. You're not trying to affirm your non-stick nature. It is, whether you want it or not. You're just noticing it. It's always, we are in reality, not imagining something. Swaprabha, self-luminous. Self-luminous. Each of these has books and books. Each term has books and books written about it in Vedanta literature. You are called the light of lights. Jyotira Jyoti, light of lights. That light is the light of this tent. But my eyes are the light of that light. Because I see whatever illumines is a light. So my eyes illumine that light. But my mind is the light of my eyes. Without attention, what my eyes are seeing will not be revealed to me. But I, the consciousness, am the light of the mind. So I am the light of lights. Everything is lit up by you. But you don't need another light to light yourself up. You are self-revealed. So this self-revealed awareness which reveals everything else, that which reveals everything else without being the object of anything. I'm translating from Sanskrit now. Avedyatve sati aparoksha vyavahara yogyatvam swaprakashatvam. That which never becomes the object of any act of knowledge, and yet is directly intuited that I exist, I am. You don't need... to see this form, I need the eyes. To hear my voice, you need the ears and the microphone and all of that. But to know somebody else exists, people around you, you need to look around and note, okay, they exist, they are here. But to know that you exist, to know who came here, Ram will probably have to look up the computer database and say who turned up. But to know that he is here, he doesn't have to look at the database. Was I there at the festival? No, he doesn't have to. He knows I am here. Without any information. You don't need to... Do I need to see, am I here? To see that you are here, I have to open my eyes and see you are all around here. Okay, you are here. But to see whether I am here, do I need to see? Let me see, yep, I am here. No. My own presence is directly revealed to me. This is Swaprabha. Swaprabha means this consciousness, this awareness which I am, is luminous, it reveals everything and itself. This is Swaprabha. Swaprabho aham, dvaita vajjita aham. I am without duality. That means whatever appears as a second to me, these people, that field out there, the flags there, the tents there, the sky there, they all seem separate to me. But what did I learn? They are all appearances in me, the one consciousness. And therefore they cannot be other than me. No more than waves in the water can be other than water. No more than the pot can be other than the clay. Or the necklace can be other than the gold. I am the stuffing of everything here. And therefore, they do not constitute a second to me. Dvaita vajjitaha, devoid of duality. Which one? I, this consciousness, which is the witness of ABCD. Asmi. Asmi is I am. This has to be connected with every word. Asango, asmi. Satchidananda, asmi. Swaprabho, asmi. Dvaita vajjita, asmi. How do you apply this? As you are studying the witness consciousness, pick up each one and check. Am I non-stick? Still non-stick or a little bit sticky? No, I am non-stick. Nothing ever has stuck to me. Including memory of nothing ever sticking to me. That also might disappear. You might think it's a horrible thing. Parkinson's, losing memory, old age, senility. I've actually seen a monk who is losing his memory, old age, at least 2 or 3. In the old age it happens. And in each case they were happy. Oh, let it go, its work is done. One of the masters I learned all this stuff from, I firmly believe he was an enlightened one of the few I've met who was actually enlightened. So I used to go to him with questions. At first I thought I had to have a good question to go to him. He's such a great master of non-duality, of Advaita Vedanta, a great scholar, but unknown to the world outside. Then later I realized I didn't have to go with a question necessarily. I just had to go and sit near him and I would feel good. He might talk about the weather or nothing at all, and I would feel good. His name was Swami Mokshadanandaji. He was passed away several years ago. And imagine the first time I went to meet him, I'd gone to the monastery as a novice, the main monastery, and another monk had told me, oh, you're going there, be sure to meet this, and this other monk. You know? And that included in the list, in my monastic hit list, was Swami Mokshadanandaji. I had to meet him. So I knew where he was staying, where the old monks stayed, those who were old and sick. So he was there. And then I went there, and I was absolutely a newcomer. What's the new word? Noob. N-O-O-B. Noob. It means a newbie. Noob. So I was a monastic noob. And I went in there, and I said, where is Swami Mokshadananda? And somebody said, oh, there. There was a group of monks standing in the veranda. So I went over there. I bowed down to them. And the one I thought was Swami Mokshadananda, I was wrong. Did not pay much attention to me. And there was another monk standing nearby. picture a short man, fair, with hair like Einstein, literally like Einstein, and white hair, fluffy, and a twinkle in his eyes. He started talking to me. Where have you come from? Which ashram? Oh, when you go back, please convey my love to that monk or this monk. Then I was disappointed because the great monk didn't talk to me. So I turned to him and I said, all right, what do I say? Who do I say has sent their wishes? And he says, say Ram Maharaj. That is his name, Ram Maharaj, Mokshadanandaji. So I'm Mokshadanandaji. I said, oh, you are Ram Maharaj. And he said, no. What? My name is Ram. I am not Ram. That really captured me immediately. And for as long as he lived, I would take every opportunity to visit him. And I had wonderful conversations with him. I'm still unpacking them 25 years later. He's gone. So I had to go with these questions. Towards the end of his life, I went with a question again. And this great scholar, one of the greatest scholars of our order, he was very ill. He was lying down a few weeks later, a month later, I think months later, he would pass away. And he couldn't remember. All the stuff that he had learned all his life, gone. He couldn't remember. He thought and thought about it. And then he said, I can't remember now. And then with the brightest smile you ever see and the same twinkle in his eyes, he said, let it go. Its task is done. That is such an amazing thing to see. More than I've forgotten the question. If he had told me the answer, I would have forgotten the answer. But this incident I've never forgotten. That all this knowledge has a result, has a permanent result, has a real takeaway, which will give us, it's the peace that passeth understanding. Once you have it, it's yours forever. It is you. It is you. Let it go. Its task is done. Aham asmi, dvaita varjito asmi. So this is the method where you apply these, each word and check with yourself. Now, the last one. 26. Third meditation in a sequence of 3. Swanubhuti rasaveshat, Swanubhuti rasaveshat, dṛśya shabdavupekshatu, dṛśya shabdavupekshatu, nirvikalpa samadhisyat, nirvikalpa samadhisyat, nivata sthita deepavat, nivata sthita deepavat. But that nirvikalpa samadhi is that in which the mind becomes steady like the unflickering flame of a light kept in a place free from wind, and in which the student becomes indifferent to both objects and sounds on account of his complete absorption in the bliss of the realization of the self. All right. That's some mouthful. But it's very simple, very elegant. What it says is, you started with the thought, let's say ABCD. Then you went to the awareness, and awareness of awareness. I am the one aware of ABCD. Stay with it. Then notice the non-stick nature of that awareness. That awareness is always is. I am is always there throughout our lives. It is Satchidananda. See that it is self-luminous. It reveals itself and reveals everything in the world. It's not rhetoric. If we have understood what the witness consciousness is, we know it is the light of our lives. Because of that we have life. Because of that we experience, enjoy, suffer, spiritual, materialist, whatever we are, science, religion, all of it is possible because of consciousness. That is the light, which you are, which I am. Swaprabha, self-luminous consciousness. Dvaita varjita, tremendous statement that there is no second reality apart from it. Everything else that you see that seems to be an object to consciousness is, according to this philosophy, is a radiance, an appearance of consciousness. And we learned how that happens, the projecting power of Maya and so on and so forth. So steady yourself with those words. Now, you must be there. Where? Very firmly, holding on to the nose. Not really literally. Being steady in that. light of consciousness. Then drop the object and drop the words. Drop it. Don't pay any more attention to the object. ABCD, gone. The words, asanga, swachchidananda, swaprabha, dvaita varjito, gone. Stop. Don't apply anything. Don't think anything. Stay there. And then drop that too. That's staying there. That staying there is also mind. What happens? How do I drop that? What will happen then? Can't tell you. Sorry. You have to try it for yourself. I can only tell you this. If you come up to the word-supported samadhi, we'll try it now. If you come up to the word-supported samadhi, after that dropping them, and then dropping the dropping also, letting go, will not be difficult. You know what is meant there. Then stay there. Now one more word of advice, which is not here in these old books. They intend us to stay there as long as possible, and that's the point. What happens when you stay there as long as possible? It becomes very clear to you that you are this light, this non-object, pure awareness, to which everything appears as an object, and in which everything appears as an object, and to which the world is not a separate reality. It is the shining forth of itself. You realize that. If you stay with it long enough, you realize, I am that. You realize the truth of the statement, I am Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi, becomes a fact. And the real payoff is, and when we come out of it, back to this world, back to this body, back to this life, your identity as Brahman is retained. Then it becomes easier to live it. You know, we all keep asking, how do I live this? It is intellectual. No longer intellectual. You will never claim anymore that it's intellectual. You say it's real. It's real. I remember in India, in an ashram, I was talking this stuff, when a lady in the front row, she came up indignantly, speaking indignantly. But this is so much theory. I said, Madam, none of it is theory. The fact that you are standing here right now, is this theory to you or is it a fact? She said, it's a fact, I guess. That you are thinking right now. That you're thinking, it's all theory. That thinking, is it a fact or is that speculation? No, it's a fact. That you are aware of this thinking and this body and the standing here. That awareness, is it a fact or is it theory? She was not too sure. She was saying, yeah, that's the problem. That's where we are all caught. that will become yes when we go through these meditation techniques. Indubitably yes. All right. So now we will try it. We will do the meditation. Don't take it in the sense of that's a lot of homework, a lot of the assignment, lots of things to do. There isn't much to do. All you have to do is to be yourself, your capital self. And the difficult part is not being anything else. So ignoring the name and form, that's the whole strategy here. How do we ignore the name and form? Take up a name and form. What is the name and form? A thought. So we will relax. I will guide us through it. You just have to keep listening to the voice and checking with yourself. Not believing, not affirming, not just relaxing. Checking. True, true, yes, yes. Then once we have gotten a thought in the mind, then I am the seer of the thought. That's the first samadhi. As simple as that. Stay as I am the seer of the thought, or any thought or no thought at all. Then we will go through a checklist of text-supported samadhi. I will point out some things about yourself, capital S. Keep noting whether it's true or not. And when you remain as that non-stick, pure being, pure consciousness, pure bliss, self-luminous, non-dual awareness, then I'll ask you to drop it. And that's it. After some time, we will chant Om and come out of it. All right. When we are comfortable, little relaxed, you can. This requires some still water. Sit straight, but not rigid. Now relax the body, sitting straight, not rigid. At any time in the meditation, if you feel like moving, sneezing, coughing, adjusting, do that. There's nothing rigid, nothing forceful about this meditation. Sitting straight, relaxed. Bring your attention to the breath at the nostril. Breathing in, we count 1. Breathing out, we count 2. Let the breath be natural. Don't force breaths. When it comes, count 1. When it goes out, count 2. Then 3, 4, like that up to 10. The last breath out will be 10th one. Gently bring to mind a thought, A, B, C, D. Just think to yourself mentally, A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. Think it once, twice, thrice, A, B, C, D. And notice that the A, B, C, D is noticed. It is experienced. I am thinking it. I am aware of it. I see the A, B, C, D in the mind. I am the seer, the ABCD thought is the seen. I am the seer of this thought. I am aware. The thought is not aware, I am aware. The thought doesn't see itself or any other thought or me. I see this thought and other thoughts and myself. I am the awareness. Notice the awareness of awareness, and stay as that. Whatever comes to mind now, A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, sounds, listen to the sounds and notice you are aware of the sounds. I am the one which is aware of sounds, of thoughts, of sensations. I am awareness. Stay with it. Stay with the awareness. Notice that none of the sounds stick to awareness. None of the sensations in the body stick to awareness. None of the thoughts in the mind stick to awareness. None of the ideas and desires which come to the mind stick to awareness. They all arise in awareness, play around in awareness, and fade away in awareness. Awareness remains same. It does not arise, it does not play around, it does not fade away. It's the constant light. And I am that. I am asangaha. Nothing sticks to me. And indeed, nothing has stuck to me in lifetime after lifetime. And in the years ahead and centuries ahead, nothing will stick to me. I am light. This light is existence itself, Sat. The I am is present in every experience of life. This is Sat. This is Chit. This is Ananda. It is peace itself. It is the fulfillment. It is the completeness, Purnam. So, Anandoham. I am Ananda. With this light, I become aware of the mind and the senses and the body and the world. With this light, I become aware of my waking life, my dream life. Even this light illumines the blankness of deep sleep. But without this light, nothing would be there, nothing would be experienced. The world would disappear in darkness. My life would disappear. There would truly, truly be nothing without this light. So this is the light of lights. I am the light of lights. Swaprabho I am aham. Swaprabho asmi. I am self-luminous. That which I illumine, the body, the objects, the forms and colors and sounds and shapes and touch and smell, they are all appearing in me, the awareness. They are not distinct from me, the awareness. They do not constitute a countable second to me, the awareness. So I am non-dual awareness. I alone appear as my own object. I alone appear as my own world. I am non-dual awareness. Dvaita varjito asmi. Centered in awareness, the witness of the thought ABCD, the awareness which is asanga, non-stick, the awareness which is being, consciousness, bliss, being, awareness, bliss, Satchidananda. I am the awareness which is self-luminous, Swaprabha. And this awareness is non-dual, Dvaita Vajjito Asmi. When you are comfortable, drop the thoughts, drop the texts. Stay as awareness. If any thought comes up, as they will, if any sound comes up, any sensation comes up, if dullness comes up, if sleepiness comes up, if restlessness comes up, notice all of them are known in awareness. I am awareness. Then go on to the text-supported awareness. Notice the non-stick nature, the Satchidananda nature, the self-luminous nature, the non-dual nature of awareness. Then drop the thoughts, sensations, drop the texts, remain as awareness. Anytime there is a disturbance, go through the whole cycle again. We shall chant Om 3 times together and then gently open our eyes. When we are comfortable, we can look down, open our eyes gently before eventually looking up. Remember, when we open our eyes after the meditation, we continue to be that awareness. It's there, isn't it? It's what you are. It's what I am. Now it's a question of reacting to life from the perspective of that awareness. So something annoying happens, and a flash of annoyance comes up in the mind. Notice, I am the awareness. That flash of annoyance, what does it do? It reveals me, the awareness. Isn't it? It's like a mirror. Like the thought ABCD, like the thought 1, 2, 3, 4. It reveals me as the witness of that thought. I am the seer of the annoyance in the mind. And the interesting thing is, the annoyance will disappear just like that. I am the one consciousness of which one instance is this guy and another instance is that annoying person. That person and I are one and the same, literally, as that awareness. Your annoyance will disappear. So like that, you can use it for everything in life. And it will become, now you're using it, it will become natural. When it becomes natural and effortless, this is called Jivan Mukti, liberated while living. All the challenges of life will become small, including the big ones. Old age, disease, death, janma mrityu, jara vyadhi, birth, old age, disease, death. The sites which turned the Prince Siddhartha into the Gautama Buddha, he became a monk. So the nature of sorrow, it will no longer be sorrow. Yesterday I was saying, from the Buddhist perspective, all this is sorrow. But notice one thing. After you're enlightened, like the Buddha is enlightened. So after the Buddha is enlightened, what is enlightenment? It takes you beyond sorrow, transcendence of sorrow. And the Buddha goes on living in this world. And all the other followers of the Buddha who were enlightened, they go on living in this world. And this world is supposed to be sorrow, but they have transcended sorrow. So in this world, living in this world, in this body, in an aging body, in a diseased body, in a dying body, in a difficult world, they're still beyond sorrow. How? This is how. This is how. If you can see it as an appearance, the world as a display in you, the consciousness. Even the most terrible things which happen in a movie, you see it as an aesthetic delight because it's a movie. Similarly, the experiences of life will not scar or traumatize you when you look at it from the perspective of non-dual consciousness. I alone, in that form, am there. This is also the basis of ethics. You respond to the suffering of others as you would to your own suffering. Because it's literally, from the Advaitic perspective, it is your own suffering. Vivekananda, when he came to the United States, when he went to the United States, he met Robert Ingersoll, who was known at that time as the great agnostic. He was a public intellectual who went around giving talks and all. And he said to Vivekananda, I don't believe in all of this, your spirituality. I believe in living this life, in squeezing the orange of life dry, last drop. And Vivekananda said, I believe that too, but my choice of fruit is different. For me, it's a mango. And I believe in that too, getting the maximum out of life. I say that, imagine, if you had to live your life knowing that you could not die. Not that you wouldn't die, you could not die, as that awareness. That won't die. Imagine living, imagine how free you would be, how unafraid you would be in life. Imagine living knowing the world is one with you. Imagine the joy of it. Without fear, you can take your time. I'm paraphrasing Vivekananda. You can take your time. Live your life in this way and get 10,000-fold more from it. Get every last drop. This will show you this will enable you to live life as it should be lived for the first time. We have lived life many, many times. Thousands of times. And we have been running through these thousands of times in desperation. Like, there's a poem, The Hound of Heaven. Like we are chased by hounds. We have been running from life to death to life and go on and on. But now for the first time, stop running. Life will not scare you, nor will death. Swami Nikhilananda was a Swami in New York many decades ago, in the pre-war, in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s. So he says that once on a ship to Europe, he met a nobleman, a European nobleman, a duke or something. And when the duke got to know who he was, he said, I have met the founder of your order, Swami Vivekananda. And when I met him, I asked him, what can you teach me? And he said, I can teach you how to die. That didn't appeal to me now, but now I am old and feeble. I wish I had learned from him. Can you teach me? Nikhilananda said, that's Vivekananda is a once in a lifetime, or many lifetimes chance. Sorry, you missed the bus. I mean, I can teach you, but it'll be like, oh, by the way, this translation is by Swami Nikhilananda, the one I'm using. So, this shows you how to live. This shows you how to die with peace and joy. I know of one monk in his old age, dying, bedridden. So bedridden patients get these bed sores. They're ugly and painful. And the nurse, doctor had to come and clean the sores and put disinfectant and all. And when those sores would be touched, it would be intense burning pain. And the Swami would burst out giggling. I'll tell you this is extraordinary. He'll burst out giggling. I said, Swami, what are you doing? And he said, but it's such fun. And the doctor said, stop doing that because we don't know where it hurts. You must have the normal reaction, ouch. Then I know it hurts there. But what was the Swami doing? Now you know. Any sensation, especially if the sensation is intense, like intense pain, for a person who realizes what I am limitless awareness, this light of awareness, that intense pain just manifests it even more. It's like a flash of that awareness. That pain is like a mirror which shows me what I am. The pleasure is like a mirror which shows me what I am. A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3. They're just mild thoughts. But if it's an intense thought, then your mind will not get distracted. Your mind will be held there because of the intensity of the pain. And the pain will continuously show you that you are awareness. And then you giggle. What fun, he says, what fun. Yeah. It's within our reach. Don't try it with intense pain straight away. One of our Swamis told me about the story of another Swami who tried that on the dentist's chair. I am the witness consciousness without any anesthesia. And he did it. But see, this is the thing. He did it by using this intensity that I am the awareness to which this pain is happening. This pain is just manifesting my awareness nature. And stay with it. He did it. It was really transcendental meditation. But unless it's effortless to you, what happened to him afterwards was, the second time he went to the dentist chair again, he asked for anesthesia. It was exhausting, he said. Because that amount of focus and concentration, unwavering. But if it's effortless for you, you can do it without any exhaustion. There's so many stories. Sri Ramakrishna himself, Swami Turiya, many such stories. Sri Ramakrishna himself is a great example. When he was dying of throat cancer, his student, Swami Turiyananda, who was a young man at that time, comes and asks him, Sir, how are you feeling today? And Sri Ramakrishna said, it hurts. It's true, there's a cancer here. I can't eat. And this young man says, for whatever reason, he says, but I see you are in great bliss. I don't know what he saw, but he said, I'm in great... It's something you would not say to a terminal cancer patient. It's anything but bliss. Because I see you are in great bliss. And Sri Ramakrishna's response was even more astonishing. He said, oh, the rascal has found me out. In Bengali, Shala dhore niyeche. The rascal has found me out. He sees through me. Now, what does that mean? Does he not feel the pain? Later, Swami Turiyananda, this is a well-known conversation, but in another place it's recorded. Swami Turiyananda asked Sri Ramakrishna, these things which are going on right now, this pain and cancer, do you feel them? And Sri Ramakrishna said, what are you saying? What kind of talk is that? The body does not become a saint. It's the mind which becomes a saint. What does he mean by that? The pain is there in the body. This is not escapism. Every fact of life will still be experienced by you, maybe even more. It's not spiritual anesthesia. Another word is the spiritual bypassing. No. You will confront life head on, but without fear, without suffering. Being centered in your real nature as consciousness. Okay. Now, let me go through the other verses. Those ones will be pretty easy. Another set of meditations. Just the parallel. Here we took up a thought. In this one, you take up something external. 27. Hridiva bahya deshepi, hridiva bahya deshepi, yasmin kasminscha vastuni, Yasmin kasminscha vastuni samadhiradhya sanmatrat samadhiradhya sanmatrat namarupa prithakkritihi namarupa prithakkritihi. The first kind of samadhi is possible with the help of any external object, as it is with the help of an internal object. In that samadhi, the name and form are separated from what is pure existence, Brahman. So take up anything, this table, or this, let's say, still water. And you notice that it is. And you will notice next that isness is basically your isness, which is shared by it. Center yourself in that isness. Take up anything to remind yourself of isness. And then use words. Text supported. 28. Akhandaika rasam vastu Akhandaika rasam vastu Satchidananda lakshanam Satchidananda lakshanam Ityavicchinna chinteyam Ityavicchinna chinteyam Samadhir madhyamo bhavet Samadhir madhyamo bhavet. The entity which is always of the same nature and unlimited by time, space, etc., and which is characterized by existence, consciousness, bliss, is verily Brahman. Such uninterrupted reflection is called the intermediate absorption, that is Savikalpa Samadhi associated with sound or object. Again the same thing. You notice isness, outside, inside, and you center yourself in that isness, and then use these words. Akhanda eka rasam vastu, one undivided, homogeneous entity, everywhere, is, inside, outside, everywhere, an ocean of being, of isness. Satchidananda lakshanam. This is Sat, this is Chit, this is Ananda. This means you yourself. You are that Sat, you are being, you are awareness, and that being awareness is bliss itself. Then, in this way, with an unbroken flow, stay with it. Use these words. Now remember, these words are just a sampling. You can use other words also. I am the witness of the thought, A, B, C, D. I am. Now this I am, mano buddhi ahankara chittani naham. I am not the mind, not the intellect, not the memory. Chidananda rupa shivoham. I am of the nature of consciousness and bliss. I am Shiva. That's another set of words you can use. Many of these Vedantic words you can use. You can have your favorites. And once you do that, once you feel stable there in that isness, let go of the object, still water. Let it go. And let go of the words, stay with that isness. If there's a disturbance, get back to the object. Notice, it exists. Good for it. Good for you, you exist. Now I'm going to take not the water from it, just the existence from it. Ignore the can, just center myself in existence. Akhandaika rasam vastu satchidananda lakshanam asmi. I am that. Stay with it. This is Brahman. Then what will happen? You'll have to drop both. 29. Stabdhi bhavo rasa swadat. Stabdhi bhavo rasa swadat. Tritiya purvavanmataha. Tritiya purvavanmataha. Etai samadhibhi shadbhi. Etai samadhibhi shadbhi. Nayet kalam nirantaram. Nayet kalam nirantaram. The insensibility of the mind to external objects as before, on account of the experience of bliss, is designated as the third kind of samadhi, nirvikalpa. The practitioner should uninterruptedly spend his time in these 6 kinds of samadhi. So, drop the object, and don't drop the still water. And then the words also, stay with the sense of isness. There was a great non-dual master, Nisargadatta Maharaj. Some of you have heard of him. It is a book, I Am That. So many people have read that book. He was a poor man in Mumbai, and he sold the country cigarettes called biris there. And that's how he made it. He's a householder, made his living there. And he became enlightened and became a great teacher also. And it's quite popular, his books. His past, he taught in Marathi, didn't even teach in English. Or anything. Books were translated. Somebody asked him, how did you become enlightened? My teacher told me I am that, I am Brahman. I believed him, one. And I lived accordingly, two. The second part of it. Even the first part, I believed him. He said so. I believed him. Then I lived accordingly. And in other places he has given descriptions. I spent a lot of time thinking, as much time as I could get between my duties in the house, in my work, I would sit and think that I am, this is being, this is this kind of samadhi. Akhanda ekara samvastu. And this I am is Brahman. In this is set the entire universe. Nothing in the universe is different from the I am, from the isness. And one day it dawned upon me. And it's been there ever since. So, there's a difference when such people talk and when I talk from books. I'm telling you what's in the book. But such people, they will take a look inside and then talk. They're telling you it's coming directly from the source. That's why it has a unique power. And it can awaken many, many other people. Depending on our state of development, it can awaken us or at least give us some inspiration. There's a beautiful story, anecdote about Swami Vivekananda in Belur Math, our main monastery on the Ganges, on the Ganga there. So he used to sit under a big old mango tree, which is still there, still alive. Vivekananda used to sit under that. And people would come from Calcutta in boats across the Ganga and come to meet him and talk to him. So on one such occasion, he's sitting in the courtyard under that mango tree and talk to people. And people were eager. I want to become enlightened. I want to get realization. He says, do not seek Brahman. See it. See Brahman. Where? Here it is. Here is Brahman. Here. And he said that, the reminiscences, people who are there, they have written, the reminiscences, sudden, utter quietness and stillness fell upon the courtyard. The people who were sitting there were plunged into meditation, just by those words. They all became very still, very quiet, very inward. And the most astonishing of all, Swami Premananda, another disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, one of Vivekananda's brother disciples, he was passing by. He was not part of the conversation. He was passing by. And he had a plate of offerings on the temple which he was going to the Ganga to offer to the Ganga, to the river. He had a plate, he was holding it this way. As he passed by, he heard the words, do not seek it, see it. Here is Brahman. Here it is. He went into samadhi, standing like that with the plate in his hand, one foot up in front of the other, frozen like a picture. The purest mind, the most developed mind, immediately plunged into samadhi. Everybody else also was affected. The same teaching. And they stayed like that for a long time, in this utter stillness and quietness and inwardness, until Vivekananda turned to the Swami and said, you can go now. And he started walking. Now, number 30. Very beautiful verses, 30 and 31. 31 is the last one we will do. Deha bhimane galite, deha bhimane galite, vigyate paramatmani, vigyate paramatmani, yatra yatra mano yati, yatra yatra mano yati, tatra tatra samadhayah, tatra tatra samadhayah. With the disappearance of the attachment to the body and with the realization of the Supreme Self, to whatever objects of the mind, to whatever objects the mind is directed, one experiences samadhi. What an amazing statement. It says, as you practice these 6 types of meditation over a long period of time, you begin to see what is always there. That Brahman is everywhere there, with eyes closed, with eyes open. Sri Ramakrishna would say, with eyes closed, God is there. With eyes open, God is not there. What kind of God is that? Just the blinking of the eyes can make God disappear. What kind of God is that? No, no, no. With the eyes open and the eyes closed, the same God. The same, I'm using the word God in the sense of the absolute. The same divinity, everywhere. And you begin to see it effortlessly. Just as we now see ourselves as persons, and this world as world, effortlessly. We don't have to practice it. The enlightened while living, the free while living, Jivan Mukta. For them, the realization of Brahman is effortless all the time. And sometimes the mind becomes absorbed. Sometimes they can function with us, but sometimes they cannot. They go into spontaneous samadhi. Anything can set them off. And Sri Ramakrishna's case, it was very evident. Anything and everything could send him into samadhi. Somebody folded an umbrella in front of him. When the umbrella was folded, he went into samadhi. Because that's just a suggestion of gathering in and becoming centered. Mind goes into samadhi. Somebody took him to see the zoo. And he saw the lion, the first thing, the lion. And he went into samadhi because it reminded him of the lion on which Durga, the divine mother, stands. And reminded him Durga and then samadhi. And he couldn't see the rest of the zoo. As your identification with the body dissolves away, deha bhimane galite. The words used are very lyrical and beautiful. As your body identification dissolves away. Very interesting. Sometimes enlightened people slip up. They talk just like us, behave just like us. Sometimes they slip up. They'll refer to the body as this. Sri Ramakrishna would sometimes say this. Not I. An object. For them it's an object. It's a thing. Ekhankar jonno, for this place. They would say this place. Somebody showed him the picture, which is now a very famous picture of Sri Ramakrishna. He said, this is a very high state of yogic meditation, of samadhi, and one day this one will be worshipped in homes across the world, this picture. And it is now in millions of homes. And he himself offered flowers before the picture. And no identification with the body. Ramana Maharshi, somebody criticized him, wrote an article about him, criticizing him, and then sent a copy of that article to him. Ramana Maharshi meticulously corrected the grammar and the spelling and sent it back. And somebody protested and said, but sir, he is criticizing you. And Ramana Maharshi said, oh no, he's criticizing some fellow called Ramana. He's so centered, he's not being flippant, not being witty. He's so centered in the one awareness. For him, that person and Ramana are the same. Because I am the awareness in that person. Through that mind, that critical, petty mind, I'm writing criticisms. In Ramana's mind, I am in samadhi. I am the same everywhere. Yatra yatra mano yati, tatra tatra samadhaya. Wherever the mind is focused, there itself one can have samadhi. Then the last one, the result. This is called phalashruti, the result. What will happen? And this is direct quotation from the Upanishads, Mundaka Upanishad, very famous mantra. Bhidyate hridaya granthi, bhidyate hridaya granthi, chidyante sarva samshayaha, chidyante sarva samshayaha, kshiyante chasya karmani, te chasya karmani, tasmin drishte paravare, tasmin drishte paravare. By beholding him who is high and low, the fetters of the heart are broken, all doubts are solved, and all his karmas, activities and their effects wear away. Bhidyate hridaya granthi. That knot of ignorance which tied us to this body. Remember the mirror and reflected face example. That ignorance which made me forget I am here and made me think that I am the face in the mirror, that ignorance is gone. Now I know I am here. I have nothing to do with the face in the mirror. Bhidyate hridaya granthi. The knot of ignorance which seemed to tie me to body and mind. Remember those three questions we asked? What is the connection between the ego and the body? What is the connection between the ego and the reflected consciousness? What is the connection between the ego and the real I, the pure consciousness? And the last question, we knew that there's no connection between between the ego and the witness consciousness. There's no connection actually. One monk put it beautifully. क्या संबंध है? बेवकूफी मात्र है महात्मा जी. Stupidity alone is the relationship. What ties me to this body? What is the bondage? What's the rope with which I'm tied to this body? It's a rope called stupidity. It's a rope called ignorance. It's a rope called not knowing. Now he knows. That rope is cut. Bhidyate hridaya granthi. Chidyante sarva samshaya. All doubts are dissolved forever. There's no possibility of any doubt. But Swami, have you read that latest technique, latest discovery in neuroscience? That throws some doubt upon what you are saying. No. What you are continuously, irrefutably, unmistakably seeing, that light in which neuroscience is also revealed, how can you refute that light? To refute that light also, that light is required. Shankaracharya says, Yaeva tasya nirakarta tasyeva atmasa. Whoever denies this self, it's the self of that very denier. Chidyante sarva samshaya. Kshiyante chasya karmani. All the karmas which projected lifetime after lifetime, birth after birth, all that has gone. The game of life is at an end. You are released into infinite life. No longer this caged creature in this biological cage, being born, living, dying. One more attempt. God is very generous. Try again. I tried, made a mess of it, God. Sorry, this life is finished. All right, you'll get to try again. Try and try and try. One day you do it, and God says, good, well done. And you're released into infinite life. If you want to, but suppose I don't want to be, I want to be born again. Good, be born as a free person. Why be born as a slave? Why be born as a slave of the body-mind? Why be born as a slave of nature? Be born as limitless consciousness. Out of your own joy, you are taking up a body. Good. Kshiyante chasya karmani tasmin drishte paravare. When you realize that which is the high and the low. What is the high? Not the world, not the body. They are all seen. Body is the seen. Senses are seen. Mind is the seen. I am the transcendent seer, consciousness itself. The high. And the low? That consciousness itself is all of this. I see that same consciousness in all beings. And that consciousness itself appears as all beings, living and non-living, non-duality. When this is realized, you're set free. All right. Before I really set you free, few questions. Those who want to come up here. Tell us your name and ask the question. Come.
Just it.
That's it. No more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Those who are here and on their way, you can come and join. Tell us your name and ask the question.
Hello, Swamiji. Thank you for coming to teach us today. My name is Naz, and I don't know if I've missed something, but my question relates to what you've been teaching today, that I am conscious awareness, and the world appears within conscious awareness, and you also are conscious awareness, and all the other people here.
Yes.
And it's the same conscious awareness.
Yes.
But the experience to my conscious awareness is different from your conscious awareness, and there are some elements of samsara that are shared. There are some elements that are not.
Yes.
And there are some elements in the universe that are known, some that are unknown. Yes. So how does Advaita Vedanta account for this whole universe experienced differently by different conscious awarenesses?
Yeah.
Because I can't make sense of that.
True. it seems if it's one consciousness awareness and the whole universe appears in it and all beings appear in it and I am that, then I should know everything all at once. Everything should be clear to me, everything should be known to me, everything should appear in me and should be clear all at once. But it doesn't. I simply seem to have one person's perspective on it, and a tiny one at that, in a vast universe.
Yeah.
This is a good question. By the way, when I say good question, it means I know the answer. There's a very prestigious journal of philosophy called Mind, which is published from right here, I think in Cambridge or in Oxford, one of those places. Quite old. And once, there is usually a very serious journal, but once they ran a humorous piece on how to deal with difficult questions in philosophy. So 10 ways to deal with difficult questions in philosophy. One way is to praise the question. That's a good question. That's a really important question. And I wish we had thought of that one earlier, and so on and so forth. And then next question, please. And before that, but you haven't answered my question. Shush, next one. That's one way. But if they persist, then you can say, that's a really good one. But to understand the answer to that question, we must understand this question first. And then raise a question which you know the answer to. And spend 15 minutes giving a boring, long answer to that question. And then go on to the next question. Or it says a third way, is you can simply be honest and say, I don't know the answer to that. And in a footnote, caution, people will think you're a good person, but quite useless. Does that answer? No, it doesn't. Okay. That's, in Vedanta, you see, a little while ago we saw how a sentient being, a jiva, comes about. In me, the limitless awareness, what happens? A mind appears. Because of the power of Maya, it is projected as a mind. And I am reflected in that mind as reflected consciousness. That becomes what is called functional jiva, a sentient being.
Okay.
That's you, that's me.
Okay.
And these are individuals.
Okay.
A good example would be the sun shining down. If you had 10 pots of water, the people from Waterperia, yes. You have the fresco in the main building there. 10 pots of water, and the sun shining down there. You would have, in the water, in those pots, you would have 10 different suns, little suns twinkling there. And they have some of the characteristics of the real sun. They're luminous. They can sort of light up the inner part of the pot, the water
Yes.
there. Now, the pot is the body.
Yes.
The water is the mind, the subtle body.
Yes.
And that little sun shining in the water is the reflected consciousness. And the little sun is the one which says, I know, I do, I enjoy, I suffer, and I want to be enlightened. It's a good example. When the pot is broken, that's like physical death. The gardener comes, God. The gardener comes, head gardener again, comes and pours the water into a new pot and throws away the old pot. And notice, when the water is poured into the new pot, it's the same water. The dirt and the flowers and the fragrance of the old water will continue into the new pot. That's rebirth. Not only that, that reflected sun which is shining in that water, when it's poured into the new pot, it will travel. It will feel, I have gone from one lifetime to another, from one pot to another. And each of those little reflected suns will have a different experience. The pots are different, the water is different, but the one sun shining in the sky, which is the source of all of that light, is the same for all of those pots. Not only that, the one sun shining in the sky really has nothing to do with the pots or the water or the reflected suns. As many pots as you have, as many amount of water you fill up so many of those reflected suns you will get. So those are the individual beings. Now, very careful here. The dangers of these examples. These examples apply in a certain way and do not apply in another way. It depends on the skill of the teacher. Here is a warning. When I give this example, everybody thinks, okay, so I am a pot with water and the little sun. No, you are not. That's not the point of this example. The point of this example is you are the sun in the sky. You are the sun in the sky. You are reflected in this pot, in this water, as the little reflected sun which is saying all these things and thinking all these things and owning all these things. That one says, I know what's going on in Naz's mind, but if I am in all bodies, I should know what's in their minds. I should know what's happening at every corner of the universe. Well, no, not that little reflected sun. So that little reflected sun knows what's going on only in that body-mind. And through that body-mind, it can know a little bit. That much. So this question is coming from that reflected sun, from the reflected consciousness.
Okay, but what about the whole universe that appears within Brahman? Is that not the whole thing appearing in my conscious awareness? Or is it that it's where my attention is focused, that's the...
We did this, if you remember, the difference between the known and the unknown.
Yeah.
The example from Bill Conrad, the 100-year-old member of the Vedanta Society.
Yeah.
So whatever we know and the vast regions of our unknown, us, just ordinary people, both of them are appearing in consciousness as the known and the unknown.
Yes.
Think about something which is other than known and unknown. Everything is encompassed in this universe within the known and the unknown. The only thing that is other than the known and the unknown is you, the knower. Now, so that one consciousness appears in various bodies and minds as various sentient beings.
Yeah.
A good way of understanding this would be a dream example. When you fall asleep and you dream a world. And in the world you also appear. You're a part of your own dream.
Yes.
And notice, though it is true that the entire dream world is in your mind,
Yes.
but the one in the dream, when you are in the dream, it does not seem like the whole world is in my mind. It seems is a world and I'm very much a part of it. I had a dream last night that I was in Haridwar or Rishikesh, Haridwar I think, and talking to some Swamis. And it was quite very realistic. I could count the individual gray hairs in the beard of the Swami. And yet it's true. The Swami and his beard and me and Haridwar were all in my mind. But at that time in the dream, it did not feel that Swami and the city of Haridwar is in my mind. No, it seemed all outside. And it seemed as if I know a part of it, as if I do not know other parts of it. But when I wake up, what's true? All of it was in my mind. The known and the unknown.
But that means that you also are within my conscious awareness, but you also have a conscious awareness, and that seems a little bit contradictory.
Yes. So it's like the sun shining on the 10 parts. The same sun shining on the 10 parts, but each of those parts has a separate reflected consciousness. The parts are different. The water is different in each part, and the reflected little suns are different in each part.
Okay. I think I need to think about that.
What we need to do is focus on the first verse.
Okay.
A very sharp distinction between consciousness and mind is needed. Because what's happening here is the mind is raising these questions. The mind is trying to see itself as one consciousness in all being. Well, first of all, you have to tell the mind, you are not consciousness.
Okay.
Let alone the one consciousness in all beings.
Okay.
I am consciousness, you.
Yes.
And I am consciousness being reflected in you as the individual Nas. But I, by myself, am pure consciousness. And in each of these beings, I am reflected as individual beings. Here as Nas. But here is somebody else. Here is the Swami. You are the one consciousness in all. But not the one mind in all.
Yes. So the mind is appearance in my
In
conscious awareness.
Yes, in conscious awareness.
But then...
Just think about it. You see, this knowingness and non-knowingness are unique to the mind, each mind. So once we separate consciousness from the mind, these answers will follow like that. Separate in our understanding.
Okay, I'll try
Just think
and
about it.
understand
Think
this.
about it.
I'll
Yes.
go this way. Thank you.
Hi, it's Natalie again. I think this question, actually, thank you for asking it, because it's like the perfect question to come before my question. So I was thinking about what you said, that Brahman is not the name and the forms that we have. But then I was also thinking about as humans, the way that we understand, the way that we have thoughts is through language and pictures, so name and form. Then the way that we communicate and understand things, I mean, you've been teaching this wonderful course through language and stories and name and form. So, you know, if this is the way that as humans we can understand the world, can we ever truly know Brahman?
Oh, you can't. And thank God, and thank God that you cannot. Because what you know, it is the seen, it's not you. You are the seer. If you truly understood Brahman, you would have objectified Brahman. But you are Brahman. All that we can do in all of this is to point it out to you so that you catch it intuitively. Oh, this is what I am. I step back from the world to the eyes, to the eyes, to the mind to myself as the witness of the mind. And stay there and see what it's like. Check it out. You can do that for yourself. At one point, language fails. Notice, exactly as you said, we use words and concepts. And interestingly, Brahman is supposed to be beyond language. After we all done all this, it should not surprise us when we read in the Upanishads, avang manaso gocharam, beyond mind and beyond language. You would sort of expect they would say that. It's beyond language. It cannot be indicated by language. But then we use so much language. This is language. So that's the strategy of this, all of Vedanta. Multiple strategies are adopted. How do you use strategy? What strategy do you use to speak about that which cannot be spoken about? There are many strategies. At least there are 6 different ways Vedanta uses words to point out something which cannot be spoken of. One way is, if you cannot say what it is, you can say what it is not. In Western philosophy, it is called the via negativa, the apophatic method, the negative method. You can say, it's not the body, it's not the mind, whatever we took it to be, I am not the body, not the mind. Then hopefully we get what it is. That's one strategy. Another strategy is through examples, analogies, stories, like the sun and the pots and all, like the mirror and the reflected face, and so on. So language, you have to use strategies to point out something which language cannot denote directly. It cannot be seen. So the senses, you can't see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it. So it's not an object of the senses. It's not an object of language. It's not an object of the mind. It's not an object. It is a subject per se. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have given a talk, Advaita Vedanta and the Paradox of Language. If you Google it, you can find it on YouTube. But I deal with this in detail. Why can't you speak about it? That's one question. And if you cannot speak about it, then how do you speak about it? That's the second question.
My name is Dr. Sridharan.
Yes.
I'm a retired doctor. And my questions are about my metaphysical experiences with 2 people who are in their human bodies a few decades back. One is, he was in my northern part of Sri Lanka in Jaffna, and when Swami Vivekananda came, he got down at one spot and he said, this place is going to be an oasis. An oasis. Then after a few years, people came to realize that there was one Yoga Swami. He was meditating at that spot. And then people were coming from different countries, including from America. And they are started in Hawaii as followers. And when I had the experience in 1953, then I was meeting other people, and they were all feeling that, before they could go, he knew what their problems they were having, and he was able to solve the problems by telling them, do this way, this way.
Sorry to hurry you along, but you have to come to the question. We don't have much time, so you have to come to the question.
Yes,
yeah,
the other one is Satya Sai Baba, knowing Shirdi Sai Baba he was a reincarnation. And are these related to their consciousness, and with that they were able to do this, or how can you explain them?
Yes. So Advaita Vedanta generally I'm saying, there are exceptions, does not seek to explain omniscience. These are special powers. You can find them in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. There is one whole chapter on these powers. So sufficiently advanced spiritual masters have these powers of extraordinary knowing things which we normally cannot with our ordinary epistemic instruments. So they can know. It's not impossible. Even Advaita Vedanta speaks of it, sarvajñatvam. But generally it doesn't. Here the aim is not to know things in detail, but to know the knower.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
One thing I will say, when Yoga Swami or Sai Baba knew such and such things, they knew it in the light of the same consciousness which you are, I am, which we are all talking about. And without that consciousness, they could not have known anything. That's the goal of Advaita Vedanta, to discover that. Yeah.
When I asked the authority of transformation, he was here last year. He said he didn't have any experience like that, and he was unable to answer.
Yes.
Pranam Maharaj. I'm Sudeshna. So I intuitively, logically speaking, get it, that I am identified with that. However, my question is about the relationship between consciousness and karma that we studied about. So, couple of things on that. Isn't karma and its existence almost a leap of faith? And simultaneously, if you are identified with the witness consciousness, won't the body and the mind still keep creating karma and continue to create and perpetuate?
Yes. So this is a question which deals with karma, with causality. The idea of karma is basically the idea of causality. Causes have effects, actions have consequences. And so what we are experiencing in our lives now and throughout our lives is the consequence of past karma. Something in other bodies we have done, same consciousness, same mind, but other bodies we have done, and the result is being felt now, though we have no memory of that now. So what enlightenment does is, first of all, it shows you, the pure consciousness, have no connection with karma. It's like the pots and the water and the head gardener. The head gardener is like God. I'm stretching the example a little too much. And when he goes around putting this water into that pot and that water into this pot, it's sort of the karma of the water to travel around in this pot and that pot. And the reflected sun in that to enjoy or suffer those circumstances. But the sun in the sky has really nothing to do with all of this. And you are the sun in the sky. You are seeing all of it, but you don't have anything to do with it. So pure consciousness, Atman and Brahman, is always free of karma. It's sometimes misleading. The way we speak in Advaita Vedanta, even now we just said, all the karmas are destroyed and the person is set free. As if you were under the sway of karmas earlier. Pure consciousness was never under the sway of karma. But only as when the mind is projected and associated with the body and reflected in that mind is our reflected consciousness. And then it seems to suffer the ups and downs of that pot and that water. The ups and downs of that mind and that body. It's like I am reflecting my face in the mirror. And then somehow I forget I am the face here. And then I think I am that one in the mirror. Then whatever happens to that mirror, I feel it's happening to me. It's dirty, my face has become dirty. It's cracked, my face has got a crack. The real face has no effect on that at all. The mirror has its own karma. And that seems to affect the reflected face, like that. So when we become enlightened, we realize I am this one, then no longer. But again, will karma continue? No, it will not. The idea is that when you are no longer associated with the body-mind, even if the body-mind continues, you know you are not that, then the actions done by that body-mind do not accrue to you. Just as the actions done by this one do not accrue to that one. Because for that one, this is objective. It's not me. Similarly, this body and mind will not be me for Sudeshna at that time. You are awareness itself. You are set free from it. So that's why we believe in Vedanta that, no further karma is generated. And whatever is done by the enlightened one in this body and mind, there are some interesting things about this. You might still argue. That person still does work, is engaged in the world. How can that, some work is being done by that enlightened, often a lot of work. Enlightened people seem to be more busy than the rest of us. They do so much. So how can that not be karma? Well, all right, granted that is karma, but who will enjoy or suffer the results of the good and bad karma? Because that person is gone. And that, after the death of that body, that person will not be available as another embodied being unless, if God wills it. But that person is free. So who will get that karma? And the answer is, all the good karma of that person, after enlightenment, whatever that person has done, the results of all the good karma, all the nice things, will come to those who serve the enlightened one, those who worship him, those, if you're nice to an enlightened one, you get the results of. And it's like a rich uncle, he leaves it to you in his will. Lots of good karma for you. And if anything is bad at all in that person's karma, could be in past life, something is still remaining, that will go to the people who have criticized or harmed that enlightened one. They're going to be hit by that. In fact, Upanishad says, the Mundaka Upanishad, Atmagyam hi archayet bhuti kamaha. Those who desire welfare and prosperity in this world should serve the enlightened one. Not for enlightenment. You just want things to go really well in your life. You want your business to succeed. You want your family to be fine, your health to be good, cured of incurable diseases. You go and be respectful and devotional and to an enlightened person and pray to that person. For worldly things, you will get it. It's not recommended. You should go to enlightened persons for enlightenment. But the Upanishad says it. Atmagyam hi archayet bhuti kama. It's sort of part of Indian culture. A lot of people are very nice to sannyasis, monks, on the off chance this guy might just be, doesn't look enlightened, but who knows, might be enlightened. So let's give him some nice food, and then we will get. So there's a story of a monk who comes to beg. In the Himalayas, they're very, very hospitable. Even poor people. You go out as a monk begging. I've seen it on a first-hand basis. The poorest person also will share their food with you. So the story goes, a monk comes and asks for alms, and the lady of the house goes and gives food to that monk. And the husband is skeptical of all of this, and he shouts from inside, "Why do you keep feeding that useless fellow?" And the lady says, "Well, if he is enlightened, and we will get so much good karma, so much blessings, all will go well, our crops will prosper, the children will prosper, and all of that. And if he's not enlightened and is eating our food uselessly, he will be reborn as a bullock in his next life to till these fields." So we win anyway. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So what I got out of that is that karma exists in Maya, and
Yes, as you're free of Maya, actually you're free of karma.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. The last question.
So talking about reincarnating as a bullock, this is a little bit about reincarnation. You mentioned earlier that mind and ego are part of the subtle body.
Yes.
And when the physical body is finished, that they continue, and that's part of the explanation of maybe remembering what's happened in previous lives. Which I mentioned yesterday briefly, I had a near-death experience. So my experience of being up there and watching the situation. So I was aware that my physical body was there and apparently dead, and all the medical people were doing their best to bring it back to life. So I had a great sense of meaning and some insights that came to me, not in physical words, as we're expressing now, but as meaning. I had no judgments, opinions, feelings about my body, what was going on, thoughts, feelings, nothing about that, which normally one would think of as an aspect of the mind. I didn't have ego in any sense that I would normally think of it as I am in this physical world. When you mentioned talking to your Swami Mokshananda, was it? Sorry if I've got the name wrong. You mentioned when his memory was going a little bit, as an aspect perhaps of the physical brain, I don't know, that he said, let it go, its task is over. So what parts of mind, if that memory part and other parts aren't still with the subtle body, what parts of mind and ego actually go on into
Oh, all of it,
incarnation?
all of it. Even when it seems to be failing, I mean, the physical apparatus is failing, the physical hardware is failing. You would often notice your programs and apps on your computer, they start misbehaving or they don't work too well. And when you get rid of that machine and get a new one, the same data, the same programs work very well again. So it's not really a problem with the software, it's a problem with the hardware. Even when the mind seems to be failing, the ego, or the memory or the intellect seems to be failing, it's fine. It's just that the machinery of the brain is unable to support it anymore. So it collapses, it dies, and then the subtle body, the language is, it curls up into a seed form. And then it is taken away, uploaded, downloaded, whatever, into a new body, a baby body. There it will again take time for the baby's brain and nervous system to develop for you to come back to full functionality again. Sounds like science fiction, but that's what happens.
Okay.
By the way, none of that is true. It's all a story, by the way. Yes. From what we have been studying here, this ought to tell us all that's like a movie. When you had that experience, think about this. The body was there, the physical body. You felt I was up here, looking down on the physical body. But now we know you are the awareness which was experiencing itself as the subtle body up here and the physical body was down there. But you're the awareness. You're the awareness to which the subtle body is appearing and the physical body is appearing. You are neither up here nor down there. You are the awareness in which both are appearing. So the locus standi should shift. It's not that I floated up to the ceiling. It's the subtle body. Something happened. The subtle body did float up to the ceiling. I'm fine. I'm awareness. I'm watching the movie of life. I'm watching the movie of near-death experience, beyond life, and so on.
Thank you. That's also part of the paradox of language.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
On that very paradoxical note, let us do a peace chant. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. First and foremost, of course, I would like to thank Ram and Sonali and their wonderful team, wherever they are. Oh, there he is. It's because of them. I was just thinking so many people must be blessing them, that you made this happen. Thank you so much. And of course, to all of you for this patient hearing over the last 3 days. It's been a lot of stuff. Thank you so much. Thank you.
The very best, the best Advaita Vedanta teacher in the Western world, here directly teaching us. Isn't that fantastic? And if we clap really loudly, perhaps he'll come back next year.
Thank you so much. Greenwich Village.
Right, yeah.